So this slope here is quite typical of many slopes in Hong Kong. And this material is called chunam, right? Chunam. Now chunam is simply a cement mixed with the decomposed granite soil, or the decomposed granite material underneath, to create a kind of like a plaster finish on the slope to stop erosion. And you can see that in the slope, coincidentally, right, we have these little weep holes here, and those weep holes are designed to allow the water, any water that builds up behind in the groundwater behind the chunam, it allows that water to come out, so you don't get this build-up of water behind the actual slope. Now these slopes are so ugly, as you can see. One way of dealing with this is this plant here. I don't think this was planted. I think this is this is a native plant, but it's also often planted. Now this is Ficus pumila. Strangely, it's a ficus. Right? Most of the ficus we've seen so far, gigantic, great big trees. But the plants are not categorized according to their form. They're categorized according to their reproductive organs. And so this is also a ficus, even though the form is completely different. And you can see that it's a self-clinging creeper. It actually is sticking on. It's sticking on with little tiny suckers, right, onto the slope. And so it doesn't need any, you don't need to do anything. You just let it grow all over the place. And this is the new growth of Ficus pumila. What's interesting about Ficus pumila is that the older growth is quite different. This is actually part of the same thing, right? So it's a weird plant. You've got this kind of foliage and this kind of growth, which is the new kind of invasive growth that grows across the surface. Once it's established on that surface, it will then grow these kind of funny shoots, which it sort of suddenly seems to decide, oh, I'm not a creeper after all. I want to be a shrub. Right, so it starts growing out these shoots. If you're lucky, and we are so lucky.
Yeah,
Yay!
I see the fruit.
Look at that. Right. So these are the fruit. These branches, with their quite much bigger leaves, which seem to be a different plant. It's actually the same plant, but you can see here it's producing figs. So these almost look like European figs. Maybe I can take one and we can step on it and see. I don't know whether it's edible or not, and I'm not going to try. But, so anyway, Ficus pumila, and then we'll have a look at see what this is like inside. So, hang on. As soon as I squeeze it, you can see the white sap coming out, right? And it's sticky. It's really sticky. So let me